Hello friends, welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to perform practical of sulfate limit test. The learning objectives for this practical to know the definition of limit test, general principle, aim, principle of sulfate and modified sulfate limit test, procedure and conclusion. First of all, what is limit? Limit is a value or amount that is likely to be present in a substance. Test to examine or to investigate. Impurity is a foreign matter or foreign particle that is present in the compound. Definition of limit test. Limit test is defined as a quantitative or semi-quantitative test designed to identify and control small quantities of impurities which are likely to be present in the substance. What are the importance of limit test? Limit test is helpful to find out the harmful amount of impurities. It is also helpful to find out avoidable and unavoidable amount of impurities. There are three types of limit test based on the comparison method: quantitative determination, test in which there is no visible reactions. The general principle of limit test: if the sample is lighter than the standard solution, then it is within the pharmacopoeial limit that is to be accepted. If the sample is darker or heavier than the standard solution, then it is above the pharmacopoeial limit and this time it is to be rejected. There are few general precautions. While performing the limit test, we have to take care the liquid used must be clean and filtered if necessary. Probably we can use a distilled water. The Nessler cylinder must be made of colorless glass and of the same inner diameter. While detecting the opalescence or color development, it must be performed in daylight. When comparing turbidity, it should be done against a black background, while when comparing the color, it should be done against white background. The Nessler cylinder, as per the IP requirement, it is a clear glass cylinder with a normal capacity of 15 ml. The overall height is about 15 cm. The external height is to the 15 ml mark should be 11 to 12.4 cm. The thickness of the wall is around 1 to 1.5 mm and thickness of base. The external height to the 50 mm mark of the cylinder used for the test must not differ by more than 1 mm in both Nessler cylinders. So this is how the Nessler cylinders appear. Now the aim of our today's practical to perform limit test for sulfate. The requirement for this practical are apparatus, pair of Nessler cylinder, glass rod stand, measuring cylinder, spatula, pipette. All the chemicals: dilute hydrochloric acid, barium chloride, ethanolic sulfate standard solution that is of 10 ppm, 5 molar acetic acid and sulfate standard solution of 10 ppm. So the principle behind this limit test for sulfate. This test, which is mainly used to control the sulfate impurity in organic substance, depends upon the simple reaction between barium chloride and soluble sulfate. The turbidity produced is compared with the standard solution. The small quantity of potassium sulfate increases the sensitivity of this test. Alcohol prevents the supersaturation and more uniform turbidity develops. If the turbidity produced in the test is more intense than that of the standard turbidity, it fails the test, and vice versa. That means if the turbidity produced in the test is less intense or less opalescent than that of standard, we can say the test sample passes the limit test. Acetic acid is added to prevent the precipitation of other anions like phosphate, oxalate, borate, etc. with the solution of barium chloride. Therefore, acetic acid is precipitated only the sulfate ions. The reaction between this soluble sulfate and barium chloride that will give the barium sulfate. which is insoluble in water and that is to be precipitated as white precipitate that produces turbidity in the solution. So this is the procedure how to be the limit test to be performed, and chemical reactions between soluble sulfate barium chloride that will give the formation of barium sulfate. Now while performing the procedure, very first step is we have to take a pair of Nessler cylinder, mark them as a test and standard respectively. First of all, in the test Nessler cylinder, we will transfer 1 ml of 20% 25% weight by volume solution of barium chloride. Similarly, we can pass 25% weight by volume solution of barium chloride in the Nessler cylinder, which is marked as a standard. In the next step, we will add 1.5 ml ethanolic sulfate standard solution in both the Nessler cylinders. And in the third step, we will add 15 ml of test solution in the Nessler cylinder, which is marked as a test. And in standard, we will add 15 ml sulfate standard solution of 10 ppm. Lastly, we will add 0.15 ml of 5 molar acetic acid in both the Nessler cylinder and make up the volume with the distilled water up to 15 ml mark and allow to stand for 5 minutes both the Nessler cylinders. After 5 minutes, we will observe the turbidity develop in the test solution and standard solution and then compare the turbidity of test solution with that of standard. Conclusion: if we found the turbidity produced in the test solution is less as compared to that of standard, we can conclude that the test solution, that is the test sample, having less sulfate impurities as compared to that of standard, and these are within the pharmacopoeia limit, and that time we can say the given sample passes limit test for sulfate as per IP. Now we will similarly perform a modified sulfate limit test. Requirement is same, reaction is also reaction and procedure is same, but only the slight difference that we require a sample which is to be modified. That means the nature of sample should be modified. So in this limit test, only the difference from the sulfate limit test is that to modify the nature of sample. That means if our unknown sample is water insoluble, we require to make a treatment or we make it soluble with the suitable solvent so that it will be water miscible. For example, calcium carbonate is water insoluble but it is soluble in dilute nitric acid. After making it soluble in dilute nitric acid, we can use diluted sample with the distilled water for further sample limit test. Similarly, if any colored sample, then first we will make it decolorize. For example, KMNO4, which is a pink color, after treatment with alcohol, it will be decolorized. Now, for example, the KMNO4, which is a pink colored, after treatment with the alcohol, it will be decolorized and can be further used for the sulfate limit test. Such type of modification is known as modified sulfate limit test. This test, which is mainly used to control the sulfur impurity in an inorganic substance, depends upon the simple reaction between barium chloride and cellular sulfate. The turbidity produced is compared with that of standard. The small quantity of potassium sulfate increases the sensitivity of the test. Alcohol prevents the supersaturation and more uniform turbidity should be developed. If the turbidity produced in the test is more intense than that of the standard, we can say the given sample fails the limit test, and vice versa. That means if the turbidity is less intense in that of test sample, then we can say than that of the standard turbidity, we can say the given sample passes the limit test. Here acetic acid is added to prevent the precipitation of other anions like phosphate, oxalate, borate, etc. with the solution of barium chloride. Procedure, we can similarly follow the procedure, but just we have to check whatever the sample should be modified, and the rest of the procedure is similar.
So the requirement for this limit test for sulfate, that is, we require glass pairs, pair of Nessler cylinder, 10 ml measuring cylinder, 50 ml measuring cylinder funnel, pipettes of 10 and 1 ml each respectively. The chemical requirement for this practical is, very first of all we require distilled waters, standard solution, sample solution. Apart from this, ethanolic sulfate standard solution, 25% barium sulfate solution and 5 molar glacial acetic acid solution. Now let's begin with the first step. First of all, we will take the pair of Nessler cylinders. We will transfer 1 ml of barium sulfate solution. Okay. We will transfer 1 ml of barium sulfate solution in both Nessler cylinder. So first of all, we will take 1 ml barium sulfate in Nessler cylinder, which is marked as a test, and similarly we will take 1 ml barium sulfate in the Nessler cylinder, which is marked as a standard. Now, in the second step, we will take 1.5 ml ethanolic sulfate standard in both the Nessler cylinders. Okay. 1 ml ethanolic sulfate standard solution in test. Similarly, we will take 1 ml, 1.5 ml ethanolic sulfate standard in standard also. Okay. Now, in the next step, we will take 15 ml of test sample. In test solution. Now we will take ethanolic standard sulfate solution 15 ml in a Nessler cylinder, which is marked as a standard. Make up the volume of each Nessler cylinder up to 15 ml by using distilled water. Now we have to stir both the solution properly with the glass rod. and allow to stand for 5 minutes. Now after 5 minutes we have to make observation, and now we have to compare the turbidity produced in test sample with that of standard sample. Now as it is a white turbidity, we have to observe this turbidity against black background vertically. Now if after observation it will find that the turbidity produced in the test sample which is less, that is it is less opaque as compared to the that of standard, and hence it is confining that the given test sample having less turbidity because of less water soluble sulfate impurities, and therefore it produces less turbidity as compared to the standard. That means this test sample having less impurity as compared to the standard, and hence we can conclude that the given unknown sample passes limit test for sulfate as per IP. So thank you.
So students, here after completion of the practical of limit test for sulfate, we got the observation that the turbidity is produced or opalescence is developed in the sample solution which is lesser or not more than that of standard solutions. And therefore we can say that the given unknown sample passes the limit test for sulfate. Now there are different reagents are used during this limit test for sulfates. So there are some reasons. We have used first potassium sulfate, or we can say that is ethanolic potassium sulfate. This is used during this practical for increasing the sensitivity of the test by giving ionic concentration in the reagents. We are also using here alcohol, which helps in the preventing the supersaturations. We have used acetic acid here to prevent the precipitation of other anions. So based on this observation and conclusion, we can conclude that the result of given practical that the given sample passes the limit test for. So we can here conclude the result of the given practical that given sample passes the limit test for sulfate. Now we will see the some Viva voice question from this limit test. Very first of all, first question is write the principle behind sulfate limit test. As already we have discussed, the principle of sulfate limit test is based upon the reaction between the soluble sulfate and that of barium chloride, which will give the formation of barium sulfate in presence of acidic environment. So this is the simple principle. The turbidity is produced by the barium sulfate to the solutions, and we are comparing the turbidity produced in the test sample with that of standard sample, which is having known amount of soluble sulfates. Now the next question is what is the role of potassium sulfate in the limit test for sulfate? As already we have discussed that potassium, we are using here ethanolic potassium sulfate, which increases sensitivity of the test by giving ionic concentration in the reagents. One more question is that what is the role of barium chloride in the limit test for sulfate? Here barium chloride is used in the sulfate limit test as barium chloride react with the sulfate and that will produce the barium sulfates. So that barium sulfate will give the insoluble precipitate and that will give the turbidity to the solution. Now the next question is what is the difference between normal sulfate limit test and modified limit test for sulfate? Again, this is similar like chloride limit test and modified chloride limit test where we are modifying the nature of the samples. If the sample is water insoluble, we can make it soluble with with the help of proper solvents. If it is decolorized, we can if it is colored sample, we can make it decolorize with the help of proper means by using activated charcoal or etc. The next question is why alcohol is added in the limit test for sulfate. Here Again, we have seen that alcohol is added in the limit test for sulfate to prevent the supersaturation. Last question is, what is the role of acetic acid in the limit test for sulfate? So here again, acetic acid prevent the precipitation of other anions. Therefore, we are using acetic acid in the limit test for sulfate. Now there are some MCQ questions. First question is, acetic acid is added in the limit test of sulfate to make the solutions. As just we have discussed that prevent supersaturation to increase sensitivity of the reaction, prevent the precipitation of other anions, and none of these. So the correct option here is prevent the precipitation of other anions. Second question, second MCQ is that limit test for sulfate has been based upon the reaction between dash dash and to obtain the turbidity. So here options are first sulfate and acetic acid, second sulfate and barium chloride, third sulfate and potassium iodide, fourth one is none of these. So here correct option is sulfate and barium chloride. Third MCQ is, following are the reagents used in the limit test for sulfate. First is barium chloride, ethanolic potassium sulfate. Third option is silver nitrate solution. Last option is both A and B. So the here correct option is both A and B. Fourth MCQ is, the principle behind the limit test of sulfate. What is the role of alcohol in the limit test of sulfate? First option is prevent supersaturation of and develop the uniform turbidity. Second is increase the sensitivity of test. Third, prevent precipitation. Fourth option is all of these. So here correct option is prevent the supersaturation and develop uniform turbidity. So this is the role of alcohol in the sulfate limit test. Next question is, the principle behind limit test of the sulfate is to compare opalescence of test solution with that of standard, to compare purple color of test solution with the standards, to compare pink color of test solution with the standards, none of above. So here correct option is to compare opalescence of the test solution with that of standard. So these are the MCQs and objective questions from this sulfate limit test. So thank you.